Do they have protection for it? Probably. Making sure we get our land drop every turn. Hit for 2. They're indicating that they've made a mistake. I think they thought they could double play. We have plenty of removal. We're gonna block with the Implacable Earth and bring it back with our ECD. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Good Game. Today we're playing Selesnya based around Yasharn, Implacable Earth. This is a 4/4 legendary creature elemental boar. When Yasharn enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic forest card and a basic plains card, reveal those cards, put them into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. This is an amazing passive ability to have in play. We've seen before rotation things like Fairy, like Narset that shut down your opponent's playstyle. That is what we're looking to do here today with this deck. We also have Archon of Emeria. This is a sleeper within the set. I know you guys are all frustrated with Uro, the Cobra, Omnath, all of those amazing things. Genesis Ultimatum, it gets aggressive. The Archon of Emeria is going to do its best to shut that down. This is a 2/3 flying creature, and each player can't cast more than one spell each turn. Non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. This is absolutely amazing as far as I'm concerned. What good is all of that mana in a turn if you can only use it in one spell? So they're going to have to adjust their playstyle once people realize how powerful the Archon of Emeria is in the current best of 1 meta. So as always, we're breaking down the deck list in its entirety, talking about each individual card, the strengths, the weaknesses, why it was chosen to be included in the deck. Then we're going to talk about the strategies, the synergies, how do all of those cards come together and start working in a coherent archetype that can smash your opponents out consistently, especially these landfall decks that we're seeing just all over the place, right? So it's really important to be consistently beating the most played deck within the meta, right? Just that alone is going to increase your win rate. Finally, we're going to look at some gameplay where we break down all of the play lines and interactions we can find within this new Yasharn, Selesnya, Landfall deck, and the rest of the meta. It's good to know how your deck operates, which is what you're going to get from the deck list and the deck strategy, but you're also going to want to know a little bit of how it can engage with the rest of the environment or the meta to really get the most out of it and improve that win rate. So if you find any value within the video, go ahead, give me a thumbs up, share the channel out to a friend, comment if you feel the need, and subscribe so you don't miss out on our 500,000 gem giveaway. Yes, you heard me right. But with that, not distracting us too much, let's get right into this Story Omnarth Selesnya anti-landfall, anti-meta deck. It starts out with 4 copies of Containment Priest. This is a 2/2 with flash, and if a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. This is absolutely amazing for the fact that it has flash for multiple reasons. A, if your opponent wipes the field, we can play this. B, we don't need to let them know that we have it, and then they could potentially, try to throw a bunch of stuff into the battlefield. We can slide this under, they all get exiled, right? And then C, because it has flash and we're shutting down the ability to play multiple spells per turn, we actually kind of want to be playing spells on our turn and our opponent's turn, right? Because we can play one spell on each turn. So one on ours, one on our opponent's, and that's why having flash is great. So you can cast things with not flash on your turn, and then your opponent's turn, boom, you can slip this in on top. So that's quite nice. Drannith Magistrate ×4 as well. This is a 1/3, and your opponent can't cast spells anywhere other than their hand. So, there'd be nothing escaping going from any weird places, right? So Drannith Magistrate just does a continual job of the Containment Priest as well, where we're continuing to say that our opponent can't do things, or else they're gonna have negative consequences to it, or just like straight up not allow it to happen. 2 copies of Glass Casket. This is an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or less until Glass Casket leaves the battlefield. Hashtag Cobra, right? Taking out that early game threat, and that should help you stabilize and get into the mid part of the game. Next up, we have Sejiri Shelter. Now, this is a MDFC or a module face card, and on the opposite side, we have a land called Sejiri Glacier. The land enters tapped, and the shelter will give target creature protection from the color of our choice until end of turn at instant speed. 2 copies of Scavenging Ooze, the 2/2, in which we can pay 1 green from our pool to exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, put a +1/+1 counter on Scavenging Ooze, and you gain 2 life. 3 copies of Sorcerous Spyglass, an artifact. As Sorcerous Spyglass enters the battlefield, look at an opponent's hand, then choose any card name. Activated abilities of the sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So obviously, people are using the landfall to ramp into Ugin very quickly. You know, just sorry Ugin, you're no good here today. Into our 3 drops, we have Kazandu's Mammoth and Kazandu's Valley. This is another MDFC, or again, module-faced card. The land enters the battlefield tapped as a green to your pool, and the Mammoth is a 3/3 with landfall, and whenever a land enters the battlefield, it will receive +2/+2. Skyclave Apparition, one of my favorite cards in the new set, a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with converted mana cost 4 or less. When it leaves the battlefield, exile its card's owner, creates an XX blue illusion creature token where X is the converted mana cost of that card. 2 copies of Banishing Light, an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. Of course, we already talked about Archon of Emeria for 3, a 2/3 with flying. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn, and non-basic lands your opponent control entered the battlefield tapped. Questing Beast ×3. This is a 4/4 with Vigilance, Death Touch, and Haste. Questing Beast can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. Whenever Questing Beast deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls. And finally, Yasharn Implacable Earth. This is a 4/4, and when it enters the battlefield, search your library for planes and force, put it into your hand, reveal them, shuffle your library, and then players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. 2 copies of Elspeth Conquers Death. This is an enchantment saga, triggers 3 times. The first time when it enters the battlefield, exiling an opponent's permanent with converted mana cost 3 or greater. And then on the second phase that it triggers, non-creature spells your opponent casts cost 2 more to cast until your next turn. And on the final phase, return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on it, or a loyalty counter on it, depending. We have no planeswalkers here, so that will be a +1 on it. Of course, we have to have some MDFC mythic lands here as well. Turnt Timber Symbiosis, or Turn Timber, sorry. And this is a sorcery. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them into the battlefield. If that card's converted mana cost is 3 or less, it will enter with an additional 3 +1/+1 counters on it. And then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, and that is for 7. And then on the opposing side is the Bolt land, in which case it will enter tapped unless we pay 3 life. We also have the same variant here with Emira's Call. Again, paying 3 life, or enters tapped as a plains or a white mana source to our pool. And then on the opposing side, sorcery speed for 7 as well, creating 2 4/4 white angel warrior creature tokens with flying. Non-angel creatures you control gain indestructible until your next turn. We have 4 Temple of Plenties, 5 Forest, 4 Branchloft Pathways, and 4 Boulderloft Pathways, the rare pathway land, and 7 planes. So that's the deck list. Let's begin to break down the deck strategy, and then we'll talk about some of the synergies incorporated here. So our general strategy is to annoy our opponent into not wanting to play the game anymore, right? So we have plenty of things that will not allow them to do stuff. They can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents. They can't cast stuff, or they can't have things enter the battlefield that were not cast. Genesis Ultimatum, stuff like this that just forces it into the field. Auspicious Sterix, for example, is another one of those things that we can really get underneath of quite easily. Of course, the Magistrate, if spells, from anywhere outside of our opponent's hand. So we're talking about from exile, right? Primarily. So this is the Uro. This is all of that jazz. The Glass Casket eats the Cobra up. Not that that's part of the can't mechanics, but so Priest, Magistrate, Spyglass, Emeria, all make it so our opponents can't do things on top of Yasharn. So that is the general strategy, is just to kind of oppress our opponent and lock them down so they can't do what they want to do. And they're hopefully going to misplay into it and realize that, oh no, I made the wrong decision. I thought I could play 2 spells. I can only play 1, and that affects the turn, right? Stuff like this, right? So that's the general strategy, is to just upset your opponent, exile their permanents, and bash in, because we've got, you know, like the Questing Beast, Yasharn, the Mammoth. We got a lot of big baddies, and then we've got the stuff with flying as well, like the Archon, which is cool. Got some hiccups today, you guys. Woof. So that's the strategy. Talking about synergies and anti-synergies, the first thing I want to bring up is Elspeth Conquers Death as terrible synergy with Containment Priest. You know, that will be being brought in from not the battlefield, right? It's not being cast, so it will be exiled. That's a bummer. So make sure that your Containment Priest isn't in play when you're trying to get something from your graveyard with your Elspeth Conquers Death. That's the only thing you really need to worry about. And then I guess the other potential misplay you could make is using your Spyglass on a card that's in your deck as well. So you could potentially Spyglass something of your own that could screw you up. So don't Spyglass the Ooze, I guess. Actually, that's a mana ability, so that would still work. So regardless, that's just what I have to say about that. And then, you know, there's not that much for like synergies in the deck. If I had to point out some, it's Yasharn. You know, it's going to help you pull land. So you're already playing for 4. It pulls 5 and 6. Now we only have to pull 1 more to get to 7. So it actually does make playing our Symbiosis or our Call semi-viable, because typically, you know, you don't want to top deck 3 lands in a row once you're already at 4. You want to be top decking more 4-drops, right? Stuff like this. So it kind of, you know, lessens the burden of those spells. You know, it pulls you that extra land that typically you wouldn't want to draw, and you can just build your way into them organically. It also makes sure that you can play your Elspeth Conquers Death all the time. So Yasharn is absolutely amazing for the ability to pull the land, not only to shut down your opponent's pay life and sacrifice. Apparition, you know, takes their creatures. Banishing Light takes their stuff. Casket takes their stuff. Conquers Death takes their stuff. It's all about keeping your attacking lanes open and keeping your creatures alive. There's no protection. We were thinking about running Heroic Intervention, but in the best of 1 meta, I don't think you need protection yet until it develops for a few more weeks and people start playing with tournament decks. Right now, everybody's just playing weird stuff. Everybody's focusing on the Cobra, on Omnorth, on Landfall, and the Archon of Emeria can absolutely stop it in its tracks, which is a lot of fun. It also stops a lot of aggro decks as well, which is really, really cool. So with that all out of the way, I hope you guys learned a little bit about the deck. We're going to get into today's gameplay footage to learn a little bit more. I am live on YouTube every morning at 6 a.m. At 7 a.m. we are on Twitch, and then we're back on YouTube at 6 p.m. All times are Mountain Standard. If you don't want to do the conversions, just check out the Linktree link in the description below. It will route you to all of my social links. You can go ahead and follow, subscribe, whatever the lingo is, and then you'll just be notified on your phone. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And yeah, don't forget to do that so you don't miss out on our 500,000 gem giveaway. And we've got free entry cash prize tournaments every month. You know, there's just a lot going on, so don't miss out. Enjoy today's video, and don't forget to watch to the end, because we have some really, really exciting news to share with you guys. So we'll see you in a few minutes for that. All right, let's see if we can find ourselves some ramp. We may have to turn this into a Bant deck if it doesn't work. Right? Stacking the Archon of Emeria with Confounding Conundrum could be nice. We're straight chilling. We have our 4 land. We might play our Skyclave if there's something to deal with, but doesn't really look like it. Let's just toss into the counterspell, right? We have 2 copies of the Archon, so that's an appropriate sacrifice to the gods. It touches the battlefield. They must have, you know, just like a petty theft, I assume then, right? Okay, okay. They play it as the flyer. Interesting. No petty theft. No blocks. Hmm. Okay. Fair enough. They have more petty thefts. That's not great. Let's just push the agenda. This can come in tapped. We can find our 5th land. I think we are in a better position. Woof. We should have blocked with this the first go around, I guess. Oh well. Nice. What are the chances of that? That's incredible. Am I right? Let's do a little bit of ramping. So now our Elspeth Conquers Death is online. I'm sure we just get bounced and hit for 4. 3 in the air, that's fine. Not really, it's a lot of damage, but at a certain point, we just have to go for it, right? I don't think they're cheating anything in. We can force them now to cast their Brazen Borrower from exile. If the Magistrate is in the field, you can't cast it. So here it enters. So we're basically force them to spend their mana, so now they can't counter anything that we do. I think we just throw up the flying blocker and we hit for 4. Okay, chump blocker, that's good. Not going to be able to attack anyways, so that's a thing. Hit for 6. Do we take it? Yep, we seen what happened last time, right? That will leave us with 3. Take a borrower. Nice. That's awesome. We could do a hit for 5 here, I guess. Only casting 1 spell per turn, same as our opponent. But we've got flash creatures, so that's a thing at least. Getting hit for 7 here, not good. Taking out the big one. Only 3 damage, let's play with flash. Let's take our hit. We need to keep 2 mana up, which leaves us 1, 2, 3, 4 to use. Let's go for it. Oh, our Emeria got smashed, so we can actually play more than one spell here. That's my bad. I forgot that we traded with it. Oh, it's early. First match of the day. That's a good game, though. They did get landlocked there, it seems, so. Oh, well. We go first. Let's keep 7. Let's toss our call in first tapped. Right, we're obviously not getting to 7 this hand. Questing Beast, though, could be fun if we can hit that on par. Let's get after it. We need that secondary forest. Maybe we run Fable Passages, I don't know. Ah, that's annoying. So this won't be cast, right? These will be copied. I'm sure this will just get bounced. Still struggling. They're only casting 1 spell a turn as well, but the copy really helps with that. Basically gets them around that. Watch them bounce both of our creatures here. Just disgusting. Maybe they messed up, or they're just apologizing ahead of time for the petty theft. Right? Nice. There's some cool cards in play. Just a pile of Selesnya. Nice. Yeah, the land animation is so cool. I love the Triome land animation as well. Another Clover. There's the land. We get a good smash. Down to 10. Even if they do borrow us, we've got Questing Beast turn after turn after turn. And if they go into their sideboard, we wipe them. Earl gains 3, whatever. Plus the land comes in tap, that's really good. Let's snag Uro out of the grave. We're in a good spot, but 2 Clovers on field. I'm sure they could do whatever they want. You know what I mean? 2 Clovers are scary. I'm scared. We've got them in a point where they can't go to the sideboard, though. And they use it to ramp. I guess it is played for free, let's keep in mind, because, you know, pulls 1 and then it gets copied twice. Pulls 3, they come in untapped. It only costs 3, so just free ramp. So we're still in a tough spot, but they only have 3 cards in hand, right? A Brazen Borewarp bounces 3 of our creatures, right? They would need to bounce everything but the Questing Beast. And by doing so, they would bounce the Containment Priest to our hand. It has flash. We have the mana open to replay it, and that's game, as far as I'm concerned. Gary's Con. That's a pretty clever name. I like that. They are thinking about it, that's for sure. That's one thing that the adventure deck does do a lot of, is the thinking. And now they actually need to bounce on our attack phase to get around that Contamination Priest flash, right? And they've already cast on this turn, is the thing. Let's see if we get it. The triple fucking bounce. God damn it. They need to bounce the Archon so they can cast again. Right? But we're multicasting too if we're allowed that option, right? We got plenty of mana, we can multicast. In fact, we need to multicast. They should almost leave the Archon in place so we can't multicast. And it's... gross. There's nothing to grab from the graveyards to push it up. Let's try to juke them into casting on our Containment Priest? Question mark? We should have played our second Archon, because now they can multicast. That's a good play on their behalf. We need to casket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They go to the Fae for a triple. They've got 3 land. Gross. Gross, 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 gross. The Ugin, an unsummon. Counter they can't cast. Interesting. They must already have it in their hands. And a Shark Typhoon to cycle for 1 that can't block the beast. I'm so confused. Now they have to play the Bone Crusher Giant. That's a good game. Right? Because we can multicast. Taking 2 damage here. And there's our Questing Beast. Whew, we make it through Temur Clover match. Alright, hand doesn't look great, doesn't look bad. Hello. They must have a play if it didn't just slam through their turn. Fabled Passage is good. That keeps them from going too fast. Single cycle here. The Ooze can keep the cycling cards out of their graveyard, therefore limiting the use of Zenith Flare. No blocks, they would just cycle above us. Taking our Banishing Light next turn, and then in with our Questing Beast, and we can toss the restrictions in after. We might actually go in with our Implacable Earth first, in all honesty. Heading for 2. Another Fox. We've seen them have a Fabled Passage, so let's get this Yasharn out as soon as possible. Well, they're not going to Zenith Flare this turn anyways. So let's just shut down the land. Plus we ramp. Not really ramp, but just increase our hand strength. I'll trade with the Fox, I don't mind. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that's probably game. Again, we'll trade. Well, I don't know if we'll trade with the Fox here. We might just throw a Questing Beast and have Death Touch in play. Fatal Passage, watch this. That's what it's all about, baby. Wait a minute. Oh, it's to activate abilities. That still works, hey? I thought the Yasharn was shut down Fatal Passage. That's on me. So annoying. Let's go ahead and take this Fox with our draw. More you know. Let's go ahead and just take the Flare. There we go. Decent hit. Oh, non-land permanents as well. I really should read cards more carefully. I just can't sacrifice. That's all I need to see. Right? Again, just punishing our opponent for everything that they try to do. We don't really need to ooze their graveyard away since we have the Flare dealt with. This is the nail in the coffin here. We still have lethal. Good game. Alright, we're gonna have to mulligan this and do something better. This is probably more acceptable. Oof, do we toss the Ooze? Let's toss Questing Beast because we don't know that we're going to get the land for it. This can come untapped. Then we're in with our Ooze. We get the land. Of course we do. What a life. Shock to our face. Hashtag sad. This dodges the Stomp, and it limits their cast ability to one spell turn. That's good for us. But I don't think red will be doing any shenanigans that's not casting spells. Nice. Mono-red artifacts. That's neat. This is open to getting blasted though. But we get the attack in. As long as our apparition can avoid some damage. These constructs worry me. When it comes to target of a spell sacrifice, it create a number of 1/1 colorless artifact creature tokens equal to its power. Oh my gosh. The cycling cast is counting a spell? That'd be cool if it was. If it does, they should have cycled on our turn. Wow! There's not that much land in the deck. I don't know why this is happening. This is so sad. Alright, that's what we're worried about. They get 4/4. Chandra can plus and blast us, right? That's 2 damage. We just flooded. That's the end of the story. Wow! We go first. Nothing really great in hand. The land's good. I'm gonna toss it. This looks better. Keeping 6. Oh, let's toss our shelter, I guess. Or we... yeah. We'll play this as a land. That's gonna activate our Questing Beast straight away. Getting after it. I think we can leave it in play, take the attack, let it hit us for a turn and then take it. If not, pull our secondary planes and just snag it. No attacks. Really? No, we're just gonna let it go through. It could buff us, right? Interesting. Destroy target land. Controller may search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield, and draw a card. That's actually pretty cool. I'm not even gonna lie. We will pay life here. Snag the Hound. It could smash our aspiration, but apparition, not aspiration. I aspire to apparate you. Okay, Geode. We can actually snag that. Let's keep our Conquer's Death in hand for now until something of ours gets removed. Decent hit for 5. Another Geode, that's fine. Let's just go for it. Should have played that as a plains, actually. Cobra, that's fine. Land on top of it. Oh, it's gonna fight the apparition? Interesting. Lands. Plus another. Takes them to 4. Gemraiser. Interesting. Oh, they can only play 1 spell per turn. Thanks to our lovely Emeria. Right? Let's hit for 3. So many land pulled today. I don't know what our deal is with this land. There's not that much in the deck. We don't have that many land. I think there's like 22 or 24 total, so it shouldn't be this. But, I mean, it's better than not pulling any land. And, we're close, right? We're really close to winning this. Let's see if we can squeeze it out. Alright, we get our apparition back is the thing, right? So they get this token. That was their 1 spell for the turn, right? Good game. Right, because we bring it back. Oh, it's not when it enters? It is, okay. Taking the Cobra. I mean, we could take the token too, but... Probably should have taken the token. But it doesn't matter. They're outie. They don't like it anyways. We can keep this only because we scry and we can look for our 3rd land, and then we have early game interaction. Well, that is it. It's a little slower than we'd like, but if they play slow too... Right, if there's a tapped land here... Nope. But, no play. We have a lot of removal here. Yeah, Big Dad deck. The Pooch. Let's take that. Bolt Hound has haste. Annoying. We can block the Bolt Hound here. There we go. Now we're talking. Okay, nice. Attacks each combat if able. They have protection for it? Probably. Just making sure we get our land drop every turn. Hit for 2. They're indicating that they've made a mistake. I think they thought they could double play. We have plenty of removal. We're going to block with the Implacable Earth and bring it back with our ECD. Again, I think they've made the same mistake. Right? The Archon of Emeria is sending people for a whirl! This isn't even a Cobra Uro deck and we're getting them. They could cycle. Nice. Oh gosh. It's like playing against myself. Good game. We can keep the 7. I think that looks really nice. There's no need to play our call yet, I don't think. Let's hold off on it for now. We might need to, but hopefully not. Wow, they're going in hard. We could shut down Annex, but, you know, I'd rather get that block first, I think. We could block, but it would kill us. Play our Archon, and we have our Apparition to hit as well. Man, this is annoying. Block this. Playing another. Let's get this land untapped. We're not going to hit 7. It doesn't look like against our red aggro deck, so let's speed it up. They can only cast 1 spell a turn, so it'll just eat their turn up, which is what it's all about. First strike, wow. I still don't see how that helps. Oh, because we deal 1 damage when it dies. I gotcha. I gotcha. Does Spyglass shut down Embercleave? I don't even know. And this could eat us. We go for it anyways. We're gonna keep the protection up, probably. Shock to the mouth, nice. And then they kill our Magistrate. They're the cards though, whatever. Ooze works. We can protect it. Well, it's not attacking through that. We fixed that land issue finally. It can't block. Should have played our forest and buffed up a little further. Oh well. Itsy bitsy lacks in value. That doesn't make sense. Just dominating the field here. Hitting for 7. Oh, there's pyroling. That's okay. Good game. Woof. We made some misplays. First day playing with the deck. You know, we got asked for an anti-meta deck. This is the first thing we came up with. I think it works relatively well. You know, we've got a very positive win rate. We're sitting at like 70% on day one of playing. So I think we could really begin to fine tune this and push into Mythic with it without much hazard, just due to the unbelievable power of the cards included and the fact that our opponents don't really understand them, right? I barely understand them. That's why we have some misplays in today's gameplay footage. But the Archon, you know, people aren't reading that. People aren't reading Yasharn. And then the Skyclave Apparition is just a huge upset. Taking one of their creatures, giving yourself one. That is a big aggro play. And then just the Magistrate and the Priest to stop your opponent from doing shenanigans you don't want as well. So I really liked this deck. I think it's a really cool idea. And we see a lot of people complaining. They're like, well, Magic's over. We can't do anything. I get it. Why don't you spend some time and craft something that beats that one deck? It exists. Not one deck is unbeatable. The thing just comes down to, well, what can only one thing beat it? And then if that one thing gets, it's the tournament environment that throws it for a whirl, right? Because we have this best of one deck that's really great. Everybody's playing Landfall. You can easily beat it, but the Landfall deck beats 70% of the decks. This deck beats the Landfall deck, or whatever, right? Can this deck enter the tournament? Not this one specifically, but just as an idea, can it enter the tournament and still compete against those other decks that aren't Landfall decks that would just eat this? Like, you know what I mean? So it's a weird balancing act, and it's not that it can't be beat. It can be beat, but the deck that can beat it might not be tournament viable is the thing. So, with that being said, we don't play in tournaments. We play in best of one most of the time. So, this is absolutely viable. You can upset your opponent and have a good laugh while doing so. So, thank you for your time and attention. I'm live on YouTube every morning, 6 a.m. At 7, we go on Twitch, and then we're back on YouTube at 6 p.m. in the evenings. So, don't miss out on that. It's a hoot, a holler, a good time, of course, always. And if you don't want to do the time conversion as it is mounted standard central, just you know, hit the bell icon, subscribe, put your notifications on, whatever it takes, and then we'll see you soon. And don't forget about our gem giveaway, our cash prize tournaments, yada yada yada. Go on and on about this stuff every day. And yeah, thank you. I said I had great news, but I just wanted to watch or just wanted to have you guys watch the end, right? That's great for my video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share to your friends, and more importantly than all that, go watch another one of my videos. Okay, take care, you guys.